Good morning, viewers at home. Welcome to the program SuperDawn. I am Vera. I'll support with you on this edition of the program. Well, today we want to look at a reaction trailing the confession of some gangs men. Remember the Offa Robbery incident where 33 innocent people lost their lives. We want to look at that incident, the issues surrounding the killings. And we're going to open the phone lines for you to call. We'll give you some updates concerning it. On the 5th of last month, the police told Saraki, the president, Bukola Saraki, Senate president, that when this incident happened, they named some of these people, that the gang leaders mentioned some of these names, and Saraki names pop up, and also some other persons, Commissioner for Environment, names also came up. And so we want to look at all of these names coming up, leaders being involved. The police also told us how they recovered a vehicle that had the plate, a sticker of the President of the Senate. We're going to look at all of these issues coming up at this time. First, the PPR of police, Moshood Jimo, told us that that Saraki is needed. Well, this time around, that news came again yesterday, 2 days ago, that Saraki has to write a written note concerning all of the confession that came up from the gang members. So we're going to be looking at all of these issues springing up with regards of this matter at hand today. And of course, we're going to look through the papers, open the phone lines for you to call, make your contributions. So I'm expecting you not to use the wrong choice of words this morning, and I want you to call. Tell us what you feel about what we're going to be treating today. Tell us your feelings towards some of the news making the rounds in the daily. So once again, good morning to you. We'll go on this break. When we come back, we will continue with the newspaper review. Stay with us.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. Well, it's the newspaper review segment, and this morning we want to look at the Vanguard this morning. And the first story here says, executive and legislature face off. NAS draw battle line with Buhari. And the writer says, issues 12-point resolution on the state of the nation. Well, yesterday, paper also towards the evening hours was agog with loads of stories concerning this particular one we're taking now. And hey, it's not it's not surprising to note that this is coming up at this time. But we'll take some other stories as well. Cultists kill 16 in Adamawa, 35 in police net. We also have in the papers, charges president to address killings of Nigerians, threats to democracy, or you need to get a hold of the Vanguard. Jubrin indicts NPDP members. TMG, CELAC differ with legislators. We also have picture stories of the River State government and some of the projects in the Vanguard this morning. Final year nursing students raped to death in Taraba. A final year student of the College of Nursing and Midwifery, Jalingo, yesterday lost her life following injuries sustained from a gang rape on Sunday night while she was returning to school. This is not fair. If you have this kind of, I don't know, attitude, you rape people. I don't know. It's barbaric. It's awful. I don't know why people do that. This is really painful. We also have here Kogi's civil servant slum dies over unpaid March salary. In the papers this morning, rice cooker market, multifunctional designs ruled in market. You need to read more on that. We have here a picture story also you can get from the Vanguard this morning. Favorite sports in Europe and US with special fare. You need to get hold of the Vanguard. Moving away from the Vanguard this morning, we'll take some stories from the Punch. This morning, herdsmen killings, alleged harassment. National Assembly threatens to invoke its power against President Muhammadu Buhari. Let's take that particular one on page 7 of this paper, the Punch newspaper this morning. The Senate and the House of Representatives sent warning signals to President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday, saying that he must halt ongoing killings in the country and stop using police to intimidate political opponents. They said if the trend continued, the National Assembly will invoke its constitutional powers. Both chambers held a joint executive session, which lasted for over 2 hours before making 12 resolutions. And so they said they are going to invoke the executive power. Maybe some other people have said they're ready to impeach the president. We also have this from the court. Buhari's medical bills can't be released without contest. You need to read that. Ambode seeks quality output from workers. Illegal conversion. Lagos hurt 5 banks, 80 other buildings. The Lagos state government on Tuesday shut down 5 banks and about 80 buildings in Allen Avenue, Ikeja area of alleged illegal conversion. The affected banks are Zenith Asset Sterling Bank and Unity UBA. Also shut are Tantalizers, Adebowale Electronics, Panasonic. You have several other buildings used for commercial purposes. They said it was diverted. We don't know how that happened, but the court is there for the court is there for you to go. This says Vice President Yemi Osibajo on Tuesday condemned plastic pollution while speaking at an event to mark the 2018 World Environment Day at the Old Banquet Hall of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The United Nations has set aside June 5th annual for reflection on the environmental state of the earth, while arguing that there were no guarantee that the present generation would hand over a liable place to the next generation. Osibajo described plastic pollution as an environmental epidemic created daily by consumption habits that favors the one-off use of plastics, plastic bags, plastic bottles, disposable cups, sweet wrappers, and toys. HOS approves deployment of 269 senior civil servants. The head of Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Winifred Ojoita, has approved a massive deployment of civil servants in the Directorate Cadet at other categories under the pole of her office. Those affected are all between grade level 10 to 17. A total of 269 senior service servants were affected in the deployment that saw many posted out of the former places, while others out of their were recently promoted were also reassigned to new offices. This is coming up, and they are saying, hey, there's nothing we can do about it. The deployment must take place. Still in the Punch this morning, we take some stories, and it says here, Nigeria clear foreign airlines $600 million trapped funds. The International Air Transport Association of Nigeria on Thursday announced that Nigeria had cleared the backlog of $600 million trapped funds belonging to foreign airlines operating in the country. The Director General and the Chief Executive Officer, Alexander Dumac, disclosed this at the Association's 74th Annual General Meeting and the World Air Transport Summit in Australia. We also have this from the RMB. It says inflation decline will robust investment economic diversification. The Chief Executive Officer, Managing Director of the brand Merchant Bank Nigeria Limited, Michael Libby, has said that the steady decline in inflation rate will boost investment and the diversification of the nation's economy. We are positive about investment in the country. The steady decline in inflation should ultimately lead to reduction in interest rates and consequently increase the potential for investment in various sectors, hereby aiding the diversification of economy. Lebre said this in the telephone interview. Well, we still have this in the papers this morning. Federal government fulfills housing promise to Bomfrey Joe 22 years after. We saw that yesterday where the Minister for Housing and Power gave the former coach Bomfrey Joe a house key. It was all over the news yesterday, and for me, it was a promise they made many years ago. 22 years ago, that came to life yesterday. I was impressed. I was excited over the news. We have here, Defense Minister wants anti-open grazing law suspended, and the writer says 6 safe routes for herdsmen. Well, he wants the anti-grazing law suspended. I think we need to take that story this morning. Amidst growing concern over rising security challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday met behind closed doors with the nation's security chiefs. Those who attended the meeting held behind closed doors include one of the conference hall at the presidential office included Minister for Defense, Brigadier General Masadan Ali, retired, the National Security Advisor, Baba Gana, and also the Chief of Defense, General Abayomi Oluniksaki. Others were also Chief of Army Staff that attended this event. But they are saying, the Defense Minister said that he wants the state to suspend grazing law. It will be better for us. I don't know your take on that. Militia bribe officials to bring weapons into Nigeria. The Transparency International has said that militia offers bribes to corrupt officials at the seaports, land borders, airports to bring weapons into Nigeria, urging for more accountability and transparency to strengthen the security in the country. We also have this, Saraki meets U.S. envoy behind closed doors. President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, on Tuesday met with the United States Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Snots, yesterday. The meeting was held behind closed doors at the Senate office. According to Saraki's Special Assistant on International Relations, Mr. Bankole Omisore, who had the announcement via his Twitter angle. The U.S. Ambassador paid a courtesy visit to the President of Senate at the Bukola's early hours in the morning office. Both had a private discussion before SP proceeded into the Red Chamber, the tweet read. Moving away from the Punch this morning, we'll take some stories in the New Telegraph. And it says, National Assembly threatens to impeach President. And the writer says, pro-President lawmakers cake. Buhari security chiefs meet. Well, in the New Telegraph, there's a graphics here where it was atomized, the National Assembly resolutions yesterday. I might not be able to take all of the resolutions, but maybe I'll just take one or two out of the 13th here, the 13 We have security agencies must curtail sustained killings of Nigerians, harassment and intimidation of political opponents, legislators and judiciary by the executive using security agencies must stop. Strict adherence to rule of law and protection of all citizens. You can get hold of the New Telegraph to read more that story. We have here ministers Okorocha lose out in APC state ESCOs. Well, we'll read more as we will go on this break. When we come back, I'll take that story again. Let's go on this break. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. Well, we'll still continue with the newspaper review segment. We have this one I took before we went on that quick break. It says, Ministers Okorocha lose out in APC state ESCO. And the writer says, Governor Oyegun wants to destroy party before leaving. This came out from a governor. The list of new state chairpersons of the All Progressive Congress in the 34 states and Abuja, released yesterday by the party's National Working Committee, has put paid to the bid by some ministers in President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet to have control of the party structure in their respective states. The minister, we have the names of all the ministers here, but Governor Rochas Okorocha lost out, and some of the ministers actually lost out. We have this one. Okorocha says, Oyegun wants to destroy APC before leaving. The Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha, yesterday accused the outgoing national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Chief John Oyegun, of planning to destroy the party before his tenure expires. He also said that Oyegun was overrated by party leaders ahead of the former chairman of the Default Action Congress of Nigeria, the ACN, and the pioneer chief Bisi Akonde. Well, you want to know more what he said, get hold of the papers this morning. Federal government docks ex-SEC DG over alleged 104 million fraud. The federal government yesterday docked a former Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, Muniru Gwazo, before an Abuja High Court over alleged 104 million fraud. Well, we'll also take this one, and it's going to be the last one we'll take from this paper this morning. It says here, economy. Finally, Emefiele silence doubters. You need to read that one. I guess, Daily Trust this morning, National Assembly to Buhari, we will revoke our powers. And the writer says, don't drag legislature into Saraski's case. Pro-Buhari lawmakers. We also have Navy advert cash. Sorry, I take that again. Navy adverts clash with security guards in Atlas. You need to get that. Nigeria to boost gas supply to West African from Niger Delta and Lagos. We have here, my wife encouraged me to go into bribery. How can someone tell me that? Did she force you? How can you say your wife encouraged you to go into robbery? This came out from a convict saying it's the wife that encouraged me. Are you not a man who is to encourage each other? Okay. We also have this one, Ekiti governorship. PDP asks INEC to withdraw 4,000 fake observers. And finally, we take here Kogi senior civil servant slum and dies. That's how far we can go on this segment. Up next, we want to look at the Offa Robbery incident that happened that 32 innocent lives were lost in that robbery. Right now, we're going to be looking at issues surrounding it, where the Senate President was involved. We have the Minister, the Commissioner for Environment of the state was involved. Some other names were involved. And right now, it has moved from that level. Right now, the police asked the President's Senate to come within 48 hours to write his own, because he was implicated in that case, in that investigation. So they've asked him, first they asked him to appear. Right now they told him, come and give your statement. And they're giving him 48 hours to do that. So remember that even before now, the Senate President has said that the police are trying to frame him up. So there are lots of issues surrounding this case this morning, and we're opening the phone lines for you to call and be part of the segment. We'll go on this break. We'll be back, and when we come back, the phone lines will be open. Let us hear your take on that. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program, where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. We want to look at the Offa Robbery. That's 33 persons lost their life with that robbery. But reaction has continued to trail that particular confession from the robbery gang, where they made mention of the Senate president and also the governor of the state, that's Kwara State, as their sponsor. But we have a guest in the studios this morning. We have Ezia Lala, a legal practitioner, that will be joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning, presenter. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, we've had counter reactions and reactions. Some people would call it political. Some people would call it is a time where we begin to see what is happening in the country. Looking at this particular thing that is happening right now, looking at the Senate and the police and the gang's confession, what's your take in all of these issues?
Yes, the fact remains that if you watch antecedents in the last 2-3 weeks, if not 2 months, there has been a running battle between the executive arm of government and the legislative arm of government. And these are creations of the Constitution. The executive arm, the legislative arm, and the judicial arm, they are covered by Section 4, 5, and 6 of 1999 Constitution as amended. Being creation of the Constitution, they derive their powers from the Constitution. Police basically is under the executive arm of government.
Yes.
And the legislative arm of government, they have oversight function over the executive arm of government. If you recall, a few weeks ago, the IGP was invited by the National Assembly over security issues, and that invitation was not honored. Constitutionally, the National Assembly have the right and the power to invite any person or authority to appear before it to answer questions. A lot of Nigerians today are saying that it appears to be political, especially the most recent incident of what happened yesterday, wherein the National Assembly is now giving the executive arm a marching order. One can look at it from two perspectives. It can be political. It may also not be. But for those with the school of thought saying that it's political, I want to stand here to say that they may be right. Right, because the sequence of events cumulating to the invitation and the marching order of yesterday will herald the fact that one may rightly say that it looks like political.
Is it because the Senate invited the IG that he didn't turn up, that you're saying it's looking political?
Not at all.
Was it because of that?
No, not at all. If you watch in the last 1 year, the Deputy Senate President has been invited by the police over certain allegations. Some key members of the National Assembly, I'm not making a case for the National Assembly, but I'm saying that things must be done properly, have also been invited by the police. The police, being part of the executive arm of government, they have their own role. Under the Police Act, they have the powers also and the right to invite any person who, Section 4 of the Police Act, say that any person who they reasonably suspect. So in doing their work, in exercising that function, they need to put certain things into consideration.
Okay, because I must say that some people also believe that this confession is really is helpful, and it's not surprising, however, that it didn't come as a shock. Some have said that this confession actually is showing us a true fight to clamp down violence, thuggery, gun running by some crops of politicians. Some people are seeing it also like that. Do you want to change your perception towards it right now?
The fact remains that the confession, I don't want to be purely legal, because these are serious issues which the legislative arm of government and even the executive arm of government cannot determine properly. It's the courts, the judicial arm, that can interpret. But to educate Nigerians on such confessions, there is a law that says that the evidence of a co-accused is not binding on any accused person. It's not enough for you to just come up and say, you sponsored me to commit crime. I have your sticker, I did this and that. It's not enough. The law remains that he who asserts must prove. Police in doing their work, they are now trying to possibly bring up evidence against key members of the National Assembly.
So, but why must we continue to, you know, without trusting? It's looking as though Nigerians don't even trust the police in this matter. But what if they are right about it? Don't we have thugs all over? Don't we have gun-running politicians? Don't we have some of them?
The way our politics is, well, I say coined, the way we are exercising politics in Nigeria, prior to any election, you see people, like now, people are campaigning, trying to woo persons to vote them one thing or the other. The truth is also that it appears that there is this allegation that most politicians arm thugs to assist them in elections. And immediately after election, it does appear also that they don't disarm them. And they keep on. I'm not saying that Saraki armed anybody, or I'm not saying that any National Assembly has been pinpointed. But it's still the work of the police, the security officials, to ensure that such conducts don't take place.
Okay, as a legal practitioner, I really want to find out, because the Senate President said that he perceived it as a frame, you know, frame up, and he's saying that before he even came up, he's saying he's perceiving that they want to frame him up. And looking at what he has said, the next day it came up again. We heard where the police said you have to come and answer some questions from them. 2 days after, the police came up to say, okay, you don't have to come in person, but they're giving you 48 hours to do a write-up of your involvement in all of these cases, because it's an allegation that you must clear yourself. The police also said that Saraki shouldn't interfere, because his statement saying he perceived a frame-up, it means he's interfering. What, as a constitutional, or what, as a legal practitioner, what do you think is the right thing here?
You see, before the invitation, there has been this rumor that the National Assembly key officials have been indicted. The question is, why now? Why now? It's good. It's true that Offa robbery took place sometime and so many persons died. 33 is annoying. It's sad. In a nation of ours, I console those families that lost their loved ones. It's a dent on the image of the country. Well taken. But in civilized claim, hardly will you see police officers or security agents coming up openly. They do their discreet investigation properly before pinning people down. But
do you know if they've done that? Do you know why are you saying why now? Why not now anyway? Why not now?
If indeed they've done that, the urgent and apparent statement coming from National Assembly officials wouldn't have come up few days before or weeks before such. It would have been something very secretive. People would have kept it to their mind and silently and quickly invite those key persons. But you know one thing in Nigeria is our law is couched in such a way that every suspect remains innocent until the contrary is proved. As of today, it's only those who made confessions that are seen to be a bit liable in the police arena. The best police can do is to look beyond, because there are certain provisions in the law, especially the new Administration of Criminal Justice Act, that aids the police to do the needful before going on air, before going to the public too. Any steps, because we have few weeks or few months to election. Any steps taken now over certain issues, the society will look at it as passive, or maybe clamp down on political opponents or those that have other opinions, and so on and so forth. So what police or the security agents need to do at this stage is to be very careful with their conduct.
Okay, we're just looking at the issues, because lots of things is coming up because of this. The police that withdrew some vehicles, some personnel from the Senate President, and also Kirimadu. Also, and some of the officials, top officials, they've said they are withdrawing some security personnel from them. And looking at this event is becoming as though the executives and the legislative, they are in one field or the other. But will this not affect governance right now as we speak?
Just as you have said, there is no way it will not affect governance, because there's bickering, there's bad blood between the two arms of government, which ordinarily ought not to. In a constitutional democracy, arms of governments are not subordinate to each other, but they are coordinate. They work in pair. They complement each other for the running of government, because no arm of government can succeed alone. But it does appear that various arms are now trying to protect their own territory.
Okay, I would like us to continue with that after this call, because protecting your territory, some impeachment is coming up. Good morning to you.
Yes, morning, ma'am.
Good morning to you. Go ahead.
I'm hearing you. Hello, can you hear me? I'm not hearing you. Okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
My own contribution to this matter is that the police are just trying to make the Senate president. It's very, very, very unfair the way they take it. Because due to my brother there, what he has been explaining, they have not gone into proper investigation. For them just to, they want to scatter the party, they want to turn the country upside down because the way things are going. He was in the police, he was invited to come down for an incident. Because he did not go, that is why he's trying to do things like this. And now the party, they themselves have decided to take it up on their own to scatter the whole scenario of the progress of this party. It's very, very unfair. That police, whatever, not to notice that what he's doing is wrong. And what he's doing is a time bomb for the nation.
Okay.
Against the
okay, thank you for your contributions. But what if it's true? It's an allegation though, but what if it's true?
That's what if you keep it at abeyance until that time. What if it's still an assumption? It's speculation. Speculation. What we are saying in effect is that the National Assembly, the conscience of the people, conscience of the masses. You see, 109 senators, over 360 rep members, they represent the people, you and I, in various constituencies. They invited the IGP. IGP said no. It's an affront. It's a disgrace to a nation. It is not supposed to be so. Now the same IGP now invited the head of the National Assembly. He said, I'll come. Give me official notice, I'll come. To show a man who respects the rule of law. No society can thrive or can make any advancement if laws are not obeyed. Democracy is all about rule of law, separation of powers, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial arm of government. Where one arm lords it over the other, definitely there's going to be a problem. But let me also educate Nigerians on the issue of impeachment. If you read critically what happened yesterday, the National Assembly never said that they will impeach the president.
Okay.
It is just the papers that the papers are saying.
It, yes.
Yeah. The process of impeachment is so cumbersome that no one person or no one arm can do it. National Assembly cannot do it.
So when they say they are going to invoke their powers,
definitely,
because that's the word they use.
Yeah,
they're going to invoke their power.
That's exactly the word they use.
That's the word they use. That they're going to invoke their power.
They have numerous
against the president. They
have several ways of doing it. They have several ways. Do you know that functions of National Assembly, also they have four or five or six numerous functions in appropriation, in oversight function, in lawmaking, even in approval of appointees. They can invoke any of those powers. But let me tell you what they meant by that is that having come to the stage they can set the ball in motion, of process of impeachment. Not that they are going to pitch. What does it mean? If you check section 143 of the Constitution that talks about removal of president or the vice president, is a cumbersome process. Even though National Assembly has an age over others. But
so it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. It takes time.
We have a caller here. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
I guess.
Yes.
Please, I have an opinion to be.
Wait, we're not getting
I have opinion to make concerning the robbery matter in Offa.
Concerning what?
What? The robbery case. What I want to contribute now is that the foundation of the whole system is faulty. Completely faulty. If you put that the police itself have lacked the tactics, the intelligence are talking about is zero. And it's threatening. Because what I have of the police can lack this type of intelligence in this type of situation. Even I would not want to blame them, but I would like to probably
I think you need to call us because it's distorting. We're not getting it clear. Thank you for calling. Yes.
Yes.
We're talking about the invoking their powers against the president.
Yes.
Because they said that the president is systematically harassing and emulating them. So for you to come and answer a question, is that harassment? Is the law not taking its course?
If you check the 12-point, will I call it
they gave
resolutions they gave yesterday. The number one of them there talks about security of life and property, which is the paramount, the most important duty of government to secure life and property of citizens. Over time, you ask yourself, over time, in Taraba, in Nasarawa, in Benue, even in the state very closer to Sokoto, what was that state very closer to Sokoto?
Which one of them? Borno?
No, Borno.
Adamawa?
The state
Taraba.
of not Taraba. Zamfara. Even in Zamfara state, that used to be peaceful over time. You see killings. It's not that I served in Zamfara many years ago as a COP member. That place is a peaceful place. In fact, I served during the heydays of Sharia law. But you see, how come that in a country people cannot move freely? These are part of the things.
So why do they use, that harassment and humiliation of the lawmakers?
Yes, harassment.
Are they not supposed to answer questions if they are called to do so? Let's take this call first. Hello, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning once again. I hope you can hear me now.
Okay, it's better now.
The problem I'm seeing there is that the police today is that the intelligence. The intelligence is not there. And they are making man go up and down. The reaching are not done. You see, why does this kind of thing come back time? And it is the police inspector general that do not respect the rule of law. You do not even respect the president. And they go after with the president. And the president is not controlling him. We have seen the great incidents. What is happening in our nation? What is the future? If this is considered like this. And most important thing, fighting against anarchy, I want to tell you that the difference is because if you have got coalition of parties to form agencies and give them promises, it will give you president, expect of the Senate.
I don't know what's wrong with your phone, really.
I can't hear him clearly.
We still can hear you clearly.
Yeah, but I guess he's making a point as to the need for police to be very cautious in discharging their duties. A situation where you withdraw their security operatives. A situation where they are traveling, you stop and ask their security operatives to go back. A situation where you invite the number 3 citizen on air. It's appalling. What I think should happen as quickly as possible, because one, the Attorney General of the Federation, based on those resolutions, need to quickly work in line with the presidency and ensure that the bickering is stopped.
So you asked when we started, if you say they show that the bickering starts, you asked when we started, why now? And the National Assembly too, someone can ask them, why are they saying that the president must take an immediate step to curtail the growing rate of unemployment? Why now? You know, people are asking, why is the resolution coming now? Is it because you're being invited to answer some questions, sort of?
Yeah, what is happening now for Nigerians is good. Let me tell you why. It's better late than never. The life of the National Assembly will soon come to an end. The life of also this administration will soon come to an end. We are preparing for elections. Some of them will not go back. They will begin to ask themselves, when I was there, what did I do? What steps did I take to rescue the common man? Now, Nigeria is selling oil in $80 per barrel. They are saying they were making money. Utilize these funds. Well taken. Nigeria is, the executive is fighting corruption. They've told us over time they've made so much money in recovering the loot. Why not utilize this money to alleviate the suffering of the common man? Why not also give a marching order to certain aspects of the government to ensure that convictions are done as quickly as possible? These are the areas we are looking at. The National Assembly will write their name in gold if they work harmoniously with the executive and other arms of government to ensure that proper things are done to the citizens of this country.
One very interesting thing for me was when this came up, and the resolution came up yesterday, where they said that both chambers of the National Assembly, both chambers passed a vote of confidence on
the leadership of the National Assembly.
The leadership, both Dogora and Senate Bukola Saraki, passing the vote of confidence when you know that there are even issues on ground is another matter. But there's a caller here. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, I just want to contribute. Concerning this matter, I just urge Nigerians, we say we are practicing democracy. Let's do it according to where it's coming from. Concerning the matter of the Senate president, you will observe that he is not the first person that has been harassed. Dino Belai was there, and right from inception that the Senate president assumed the office, you will call the time all manner of to remove him to court, bring him to court and the rest. So it's like this government doesn't want any opposition, everybody to talk, and they are hell bent on going for the second time. In the instance of Dino Belai, he was arrested. They said the same system that some people went for robbery. They went for robbery and then they mentioned his name. Now they cook up another story that his constituency doesn't want him. They went ahead with the election. And they now want to all this. So I really wonder, they should have changed the problem of insecurity. And so we are alive when Abacha was in power. The only thing that remains now, really Abacha is, you are pushing, you are going. So they should allow criticism. But for me, what is happening is that they don't even want any opposition. And Buhari must go for the second time, must win. And it must go for Nigeria.
Okay.
Let's practice democracy as it.
Okay, thank you so much. Shouldn't we allow the law take its course? Shouldn't we allow the police do their work?
No, what the caller is trying to say is that we are not just practicing democracy. We are practicing what we call constitutional democracy.
Yes.
Where people are given specific assignments, duties to do. They should be allowed to exercise that. In the case of National Assembly, he made mention of Dino Melaya.
Yes, he had an issue to answer. Yes.
He made mention of, even from the beginning of this administration, how the Senate President has been, I don't want to use the word torment, but he has been having a running battle with the executive from one court to the other. People should be allowed to do their legislative jobs.
No, can the police be allowed also to do their own job as well?
Yeah, police can be allowed to do their own job.
Isn't their work they are doing with what is happening right now? Are they not doing their work?
They are doing their work, but they're not doing it properly. They're not doing it properly. It does appear they want to give a dog a name so as to kill the dog, which is not properly.
Your thoughts, but we'll go on this break. When we come back, we'll continue with our guest. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Welcome back. We're still looking at the issues surrounding the robbery in Offa, where innocent people lost their lives, and the police got a hold of some people, some 22 suspects well held, and they made some allegations or confessions linking the Senate President, the Governor of Kwara State, and the Commissioner for Environment of that state. Looking at this event, we still have our guest in the studios, looking at this outcome of the event. Now we have the NPDP, in the House, saying the president called, the vice president was with them for a meeting, trying to settle the disagreement with they're having in the party, the internal disagreements in the party. But they are pushing this Saraki's invitation as though the police, the president himself, President Muhammadu Buhari, is trying to link them or give them a bad name. Do you think the president will be involved in such a thing like this?
I don't think it's proper for NPDP to push for Saraki never to, the Senate president never to answer to such allegations. It's not proper. My thinking is that the Senate president should go, make his statements, answer to the allegations, see the culprits eyeball to eyeball, clear his name, and go back to his duties.
No, but they said it's not, they don't need him in persons. They want him to write a written note. We'll come back to that. There's a caller now. We'll come back to you. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, my lady.
Good morning to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is for Williams from Ebutrega.
Okay.
I'm thinking that the executive is just trying to cow the legislature. And that is why El-Rufai can what's his name? To rope him with maybe with the mother kid. So they are doing that to Dino Melai. And that's why some people went to rob, maybe around somewhere around Offa. And they cannot bring in the Senate president simply because these guys are political talk. And I listened to the question put to the leader of the gang. When they asked him, did he send you? Or was he aware? He said he was not aware. He said only because they are political talk.
Yes.
And if the Senate president did not tell you to go and you are a political talk in a political party, well, what does that mean? As the Senate president asked you to go and rob or to go and kill somebody. So why would the police not take their time to find out all this before they can start rubbishing and then putting everything into the media in order to rubbish so that they can cow them just because they are against the president, because the president is not really fighting insecurity that is in the country. Yesterday they killed some people. The president cannot do anything about it, and he has refused to declare these people terrorists. But he found it very, very convenient to declare IPOP a terrorist group where they did not even kill a fowl. But these people have been killing 70, 50, 20, 10, 5, and he has not thought it necessary to declare them terrorists, and so that they can go after them. They have not even arrested anybody. So if the National Assembly are now coming, they come together now to say, look, President, you have to perform your primary responsibility of protecting the life and property of Nigerians. And if you fail to do that, then they should invoke their powers in the Constitution. That is very necessary because it is a failure. And look at the economy. And look at the issue of NFPP. In a way, they've been paying subsidy without the appropriation or approval of the National Assembly. This is why we are saying they want to truncate the rule of law. They want to truncate this democracy by the
Are you saying that the police shouldn't do their work? When someone says, are you saying that the police is wrong? Is that what you're saying? Someone mentioned names, and the police invited the Senate because his name was mentioned. Come and tell us or write to us what you know about this.
This is it. If the Senate president's name was mentioned, no problems. But at least the police in their intel, they should have, in a way, gotten that from the camp. Then they will not to put it in the media. Look, Mr. Senate President, this is what we have. Somebody has said about you. What you have to say. He said instead of trying to rubbish the office of the Senate President, and you want to go after.
Okay, let's allow other people make their contributions. Thank you so much. Yes, another caller saying this is looking as
for crying out loud. You see, there is this growing tension. If you watch the trend, all the callers, they are not happy with the development in the nation. There is this mass disconnect between the masses and the government. It does appear they see the government as doing their thing, while the masses are doing a different thing. If the Senate President, just the point I raised earlier, why blow it in the air?
No, but is it not a serious allegation?
It's a serious allegation.
Is it an allegation you can throw under the carpet?
FBI cannot do something. FBI, if they have such, they work underground, assume their facts, look into a lot of things before coming up. Now you've invited him, before you know it, there's sudden somersaults. Don't come again, begin to write and return to us. It looks childish. It looks as if they don't know what they are doing. And you see, the life of a citizen is so sacrosanct that Israelis will not play or talk with any of their citizens. Nigerians have lost so many. Offa. You had such a thing, and you've had names mentioned. What you do is to secretly Go find out your facts, not openly.
Do you know if they've done that secretly, but they wanted these big names in the society because they are leaders? I'm not taking sides of what the IG is doing or the police is doing, but I'm just looking at it both ways, not to be on one side, but looking at this ways. Someone mentioned your name, come and answer. And in the other hand, are there not better ways to handle these issues? Because in their resolution, I will continue with the resolution, but let's get this caller. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I want to contribute to the topic that we're discussing this morning.
Yes.
You see, this country, I know if I say that there is a big problem in this country now, some people may not want to hear it. There is a very big problem. And the way it is going, I will even want to tell you that even if the National Assembly, after invoke that session 1 for threat, the power that they have to impeach the president, if they succeed going through the whole process and impeach the president, the president will not lose that place. Because he has succeeded in bringing all the security people closer to him, people that will fight on behalf of the Nigerians. All of them are now supporting him, and nothing will happen. That nothing we can do. Imagine in a country that the Senate invited the IGP to come and answer questions because of what is happening in this country. The killing going on everywhere on a daily basis. We are counting human beings head every day. Numbers. These are money that will never come back to life every day. And IGP did not go, and President did not impact it. I want to ask a question when we find cause. That is it not President that's supposed to? It's not the President that's supposed to call the IGP to order when the senator invited him to the situation. What did he do during that time? On the issue of fraternity, we all know where fraternity issue started. We all know where it started. And till this administration, this is how they're looking for force to bring it down. I am not saying that police should not do their job. Police should do their job. But before it comes to the public like this, to broadcast, say so many things about somebody of that caliber on the air, you need to have finished so many investigations. They came and they told us that they are inviting him. All of a sudden, they just say that he should not come again, they should write to them, and his name has gone around the whole world. That is not supposed to be so in a country like Nigeria. If it's a country that is working, things like that will not happen. So you want to say that in other countries that police are not doing their job. How many times have you heard the police in other countries broadcasting the names of people that are representing the masses here? I mean them for investigation, for question, because somebody mentioned their name. I don't know. There is a serious issue in this country. There is a serious issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. Yes.
Let me just
you were saying something before.
Let me just correct one impression. The last caller, I quite agree with him to an extent, but I want to quickly disabuse his mind and the mind of Nigerians that one, no person, no institution is greater than Nigerians, the citizens. No arm of government is greater than the citizen. The president had a meeting yesterday with the security chiefs. Yes, he was exercising his the president was exercising his constitutional powers and his right and his power in doing that. Yeah. If the National Assembly set the ball in motion to enforce Section 143 of the Constitution, of setting the impeachment proceedings in place, nobody can stop them. Nobody can stop them. And if they succeed in doing that, the president will leave.
Okay, we're going to go on this break, and another guest, Barrister Destiny Tanko, will be joining us. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
SuperDawn, your daily live current affairs program where topical issues that border on politics, economy, sport, and sizzling national issues are analyzed, now holds every Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Superscreen Television. Let your voice be heard. Join us.
Garlic contains a compound called allicin, which has potent medicinal properties. Garlic is a plant in the allium onion family. It is closely related to onions, shallots, and leeks. It grows in many parts of the world and is a popular ingredient in cooking due to its strong smell and delicious taste. This compound is known as allicin and is also responsible for the distinct garlic smell. Allicin enters the body from the digestive tract and travels all over the body where it exerts its potent biological effect. Garlic is a plant in the onion family, grown for its cooking properties and health effect. Garlic supplementation is known to boost the function of the immune system. Studies shows that a daily garlic supplement reduced the number of colds by 63% compared with placebo. Cardiovascular diseases like heart attacks and strokes are the world's biggest killers. High blood pressure or hypertension is one of the most important drivers of these diseases. Human studies have found garlic supplementations to have a significant impact on reducing blood pressure in people with high blood pressure. Effects on longevity are basically impossible to prove in humans, but given the beneficial effect on important risk factors like blood pressures, it makes sense that garlic could help you live longer. The fact that it can fight infectious disease is also an important factor because these are common causes of death, especially in elderly people with dysfunctional immune systems. Garlic has known beneficial effects on common causes of chronic diseases, so it makes perfect sense that it could help you live longer. Garlic was one of the earliest performance-enhancing substances. It was traditionally used in Asian cultures to reduce fatigue and enhance the work capacity of laborers. The last one is not the health benefit, but still important. It is the fact that it is very and easy to include garlic in a current diet. It complements most savory dishes, particularly soups and sauces. The strong taste of garlic also adds a punch to otherwise bland recipes. Garlic comes in several forms, from whole cloves and smooth pastes to powders and supplements like garlic extract and garlic oil. The minimum effective dose for therapeutic effect is 1 clove eaten with meals, 2 or 3 times a day. However, keep in mind that there are some downsides to garlic, such as bad breath. The active compound allicin only forms when garlic is crushed or cleaved when it is raw.
Welcome back. Joining us, we have Barrister Destiny Takun. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much, Varian. Good morning, viewers. Good to be here again.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Well, we're looking at the counter-accusations. So we're looking at the alleged confession by the gang leader of the robbery squad that went and killed 33 people
in Offa.
This is happening. But looking at what is happening now, the police, before the police invited the Senate President perceived that there's going to be a frame-up, and it did happen, and the police invited him. And some people had said it is good for democracy where you see true fight to climb down violence, to climb down political talks, thuggeries, gun running, by crops of politicians. Some people have said this is a good thing for us right now. And some other person are saying this is political. Inviting Saraki, putting Saraki's name, this is political. What's your take on it?
Talking about the supposed confession, the fellow only confessed to participating in the armed robbery. He never confessed to being sent by Saraki. I read
but
through
all
all
of political.
Who doesn't the IG have his own talks? His boys that he takes around and the jobs they do for people who, you know, apart from the attachments they give to politicians and undeserving persons, who doesn't have talks? All politicians have talks in this country. We know that in every state. So it's not about having talks. Now, if having talks is the law, is what Saraki is answering for, then we'll say fine, it's a different thing. But it's invited over the armed robbery and killings in Offa. That's a completely different thing. The fellow did not say, I was sent by Saraki or the governor of Kwara State. He said, yes, we have worked for Saraki, and we know that, like I said, it happens everywhere. And in spite of the attempts to make him say it, he insisted. He said, I have worked for Saraki as a political talk. We do these runs and all of that for elections for him. You know, he never said that he was sent to go and rob.
So are you saying it's a wrong misinterpretation?
No, I'm coming to it. So entirely, it is very, very wrong. It's political. We are aware of what Saraki has been passing through with this government, a government of a party that he's supposed to be a member from the very beginning, when he and Dogara emerged as the leaders or the leadership of the National Assembly. This has continued. You know, it becomes very easy for the police and to look at any perceived opponent of this government and attach him with whatever. It's very convenient, very easy. Oh, there was a robbery in Offa. That's Kwara State where Saraki is from. You know, so the fellow said he had worked for him. So what? So it's strictly political. This is the same IG who defied, you know, the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Are we not putting sentiments to this? Is it wrong to invite someone to come and say
it is normally not wrong. It is normally not wrong.
Yes.
But of course, when the sequence of events, all right, link up to give a logical, you know, conclusion, that of course one thing led to the other. Ordinarily, if there was an armed robbery incident in Kwara State and Saraki was invited, you know, as it is, you want to ask, what would, I mean, for God's sake, we're Nigerians, what would a two-time governor of Kwara State, you know, and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the son of, what was his father's name, the older Saraki, you know, have to do with petty robbery. As far as even the amount that was taken from all these banks is concerned, you know, we're not saying that however they would have gotten these funds, they are there, it's Nigeria. Maybe another day we want to look at how the Sarakis have made their money. You know, but to say that Olusegun Saraki is in a position to go robbing or be involved in robbery is preposterous.
Now, yesterday the Senate House brought resolutions. One of those resolutions I've not mentioned, I mentioned some of them here, but one is votes of no confidence on the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris. If the Senate doesn't have confidence in the IGP, what then happens?
He's supposed to have even been removed by now. First of all, this is somebody who was sent by the man who appointed him, the president, in the light of the killings in Benue State. Go and deal with the situation in Benue State. And we hear he went on a frolic of his own between him and his master. God alone knows. And then the president, barefacedly, unabashed, flagrantly, came to Nigerians and said, I didn't know that my IG did not go to Benue. It was simply responsible. And then after that, the Senate invited him over the same killings of Nigerians, the lives of Nigerians. What are the duties of the police? Amongst others, basically preservation of life, limb, and property. You know, amongst others, law and order. That's the major, the kernel of the responsibility of the police. And then you are failing in these things. The Senate of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria invites you to come and account and say why these things are going on, and you say, I will not go. And then to think that he has the effrontery to invite Saraki because there's a supposed robbery somewhere in Kwara State. So when there's this disconnect,
what happens to the citizenry? When we have disconnect, people that are supposed to lead us, and there's this bickering here and there.
The answer is clear and simple. When there's disconnect between the arms of government and bickering, it means it shows incompetence on the part of those leading us. And as such, you see, I may bold to say that the IGP is too small to face the National Assembly. The reason is being that the IGP can be sacked by the National Assembly. But not, and the IGP cannot sack the National Assembly. Because if the IGP, if the National Assembly sack his appointer, I mean the president himself, all the cabinet goes.
Okay, before we go, because we're rounding up right now, I must say, Barrister Destiny Tanko, the Senate threatened to invoke constitutional power if president fails to heed to their resolutions. And people are saying, why would they be doing that?
No. Because we have three arms of government in this government. And they are the executive, and the executive. There's no judiciary, there's no legislature.
Why are you saying that?
Oh, because Buhari's government is all that there is. In fact, like we all know, let me even leave the APC out. Even in the APC, the structures of the APC, which of the structures does he take along with him? So he has witch-hunted the judiciary. He is doing that continually with the legislature. And you're asking yourself, so where are the three arms of government? They are like three crooked legs pointing at different directions. Are
you saying the president should be doing everything, or people should take charge of their duties?
No, everybody has his duty, yes, but of course the three arms of government work together.
Yes.
They work in tandem to deliver, the benefits of democracy to the people. But in this government, I'm saying that the president, the executive arm of government, is all there is. The legislature doesn't matter. The judiciary doesn't matter. So long as the only name that is heard is President Buhari and his in my view, his executives that have shown and demonstrated the highest level of mediocrity ever in the history of this country.
Okay, we must wrap up. Your final word now in this matter. Your final word. And what you think the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, need to do next time? What do you think the Senate needs to do in this matter, because it's getting not really good?
The issue is that there is a build-up already. If you look at the 10 and 12 point resolution, you ask yourself one question: which among them is not a truth? All of them have raised serious concern to Nigerians, even before now. So it behoves on the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, not even the IGP, to work quickly with the presidency to quell this situation.
Okay, we must wrap up now. Yes, from you, Barrister Destiny Tanko.
Well, as it is, the Federal Republic of Nigeria has three arms of government, and this country belongs to all of us. I don't know if it's too late in the day, but 3 years into 4 years, because you're never certain of what will happen, after the year that is left. The APC government and President Buhari, have totally shown that they do not have their acts together. Those are my thoughts, of course. And this is Destiny Takon talking. That's my opinion. It is shown that this government is in total disarray. That's what it portends. That's what it means. And that Nigerians are just being, on a daily basis, given something else to distract them from the lack of the ability of this government to deliver the dividends of democracy. We need better. We deserve better. Okay, let them put their acts together and deliver the dividends of democracy and stop the witch hunting and display of mediocrity in government.
We want to thank Barrister Eze Alala. Thank you for coming on this segment of the program.
Thank you.
And I want to thank Barrister Destiny Takon. Thank you so much.
My pleasure as always. Thank you.
Well, this is where we end this segment. Up next is SuperDawn Sports. And on Friday, we are meeting checks. Yes. I guess that the guys who talk about it, and don't forget that Falcon also has a game here. We'll go on this break. Coming in, it's SuperDawn Sports.